You're listening to the Ecosystem Approach show. I'm Jason.
And I'm Patricia. Tune in every Monday at 1 p.m. Pacific Time and 4 p.m. Eastern Time on Transformation Talk Radio.
We discovered that human potential is severely limited when you program humans like a machine, which is standard practice today for self-improvement.
The Ecosystem Approach teaches you how to uncover your infinite potential by using natural methods that are truly revolutionary. Join us now for the Ecosystem Approach show. We've worked with past lives. I can't even get it out correct the first time. We've worked with past lives since the beginning of our work for over 20 years. Most people, when it comes to past lives, want to be entertained or expect some great revelation. Today, we'll talk about practical uses of past life information and how you can do it yourself in ways that can be very, very helpful. We are married intuitives with over 20 years experience who created the Ecosystem Approach for you. This is much different because we see human beings as ecosystems that need to be restored instead of programmed. We show you how to take an energy approach for internal discovery that is rational, practical, and useful for everyday life. Jason, what are some of the practical uses of past life information? Maybe you should start with why we need to think about past life. What does that say?
We're going to talk about why we think past lives exist.
Oh, yes, of course.
And why it's important. So let's start with that first.
Thank you, dear. I appreciate that.
Let's start with the basics.
Okay.
Your essence and its health is fundamental to your life.
Correct.
When we titled the Ecosystem Approach, we include as part of your ecosystem of you personally is your essence. It's fundamental to who you are.
Yes.
And it's never been acknowledged as such.
Right.
Maybe someone will say, use that soul word out there and say it's really important.
Yes.
It satisfies my soul or my soul purpose, that sort of thing.
Well, that's the way I was trained that way.
But no one really understands how to use it. It's really, it's far more complex. It is the best mentor. It is, if you don't have a good life, your soul is, there's something, your soul needs to be healed. So
there you go.
So that's our fundamental view. So when we look at someone's essence or soul, we always see that there's negative energy attached that is creating the problems and dysfunctions that is central to the reason that they come to see us in the first place.
Well, isn't part of what you're talking about, can people go look at the 80%, the articles on the 80% on our website?
Yes, and you stole my punchline, but
excuse me.
Yes, the truth is that your essence needs to be healed. And we did an article, it's on our website, about the 80%, so that when people come in, we notice that even people who achieve greatness,
correct,
have 80% of their essence is encumbered with negative energy. So if you want to read that article, by the way, go to our website right now, theecosystemapproach.org, sign up for our free section. All we ask for is your email address, and you can read that article, part 1 and part 2, and there's a lot of other content there that will be really helpful to you. But so when we look at someone's essence, we see all this negative energy. It's not just from this lifetime.
Yeah.
Babies come in, we see all this negative energy. It's not from this lifetime.
Well, and especially one of the proofs is babies with disease.
Yes.
Okay. Or children with disease.
Exactly.
Yes.
So
carried from another lifetime.
We've been watching these commercials from
St. Jude's.
St. Jude's.
Yes, I know.
And they talk about the childhood cancer and childhood disease, and they work with that.
Yes.
Where does that come from?
Yes.
How does a baby have a brain tumor?
Yeah.
How does a baby have have cancer.
Mhm.
You know, don't they come in pure? No, they don't.
Unfortunately, they don't.
We see this all the time. And
Exactly.
so there's nothing wrong with using, whether it's alternative medicine or traditional medicine.
Correct.
But the main part of that is that it's an expression of trauma that's already happened.
And that they hold on, and that their soul is holding on to it.
Exactly.
Okay.
And if you can go to that trauma and release it,
yes,
then the possibilities of outcome are enhanced greatly.
Yes. And I do want to say this, because people, when you talk about children, they always want to think of children as pure and innocent and all of those things. But I just want to say, when we're talking about children bring in with them a disease, well, and we'll talk about cancer is a very good example. We're not talking about what the child their motives in life are about. We're not talking about
We're not talking about their character.
We're not talking about, thank you. We're not talking about their character.
This negative energy is a reflection of trauma.
Exactly.
And heartache they've had in past lives that they're holding on to in their essence.
Yes, exactly.
And this cancer is an expression, or whatever the disease is an expression of that. So getting back to the original question, how can past lives have practical uses in our life?
Correct.
Healing is one of the big ones.
Yes.
So, and especially with children, it's part of their emotional story, and your emotional story is a continuation of your past life stories.
Correct. Correct. And also a collective of that.
People ask us, well, do you believe in past lives? Well, it's not that we believe in it. It's not that we're putting it up on a pedestal. We just see when we as intuitives, we look at someone's essence and we see what's there.
Yes.
We see that the emotional story, which is what we use to help to understand what to clear, what to remove from that, from the essence. We go there, and we know that in this lifetime is not enough to get to all that's there.
Okay. And you know what, I want to say this, because I'm getting information from the audience at the moment, but a lot of people think that that if they have something wrong with them, being an adult or a child or whoever, that makes them bad or wrong or broken.
Yes.
And one of the things that I discovered, I definitely have some past life stuff that I have been dealing with. And one of the things that I discovered, that before, I never had any hope or understanding that there was a way that I could help myself get through the dramas and traumas of past life stuff and disease
and current life stuff
and current life stuff. And one of the things that I'm always in awe of regarding the ecosystem approach is that it actually gives you hope. It gives you hope that yes, I can get rid of this. And there is, I did come here to do something, and I can do something.
And I want to go through this list, but more importantly than that, programming as a culture tells us that we're a machine.
Yes.
So if something's wrong with us, the machine's broken, and then we fix the machine, and then we keep going. But we see human beings as ecosystems. We say it every show that need to be uncovered, because that uncovering process is clearing that negative trauma that's stuck to us from the past.
Right.
So imagine it, all you have to do is go back in history, the wars and the famines and the diseases.
Correct.
And
we're even going to talk about that a little bit.
Yes. So but how can past life information be helpful to you? Well, any sort of health. One of the things that it doesn't have to be childhood either.
Right.
The most common conditions have their roots, like cancer, heart disease, multiple sclerosis, MS, Parkinson's disease, Alzheimer's disease. I was just reading this morning an article in Scientific American that this guy had Alzheimer's, and he had this rare genetic mutation.
Okay.
And they were talking about some things he was doing to heal it. He was like 43.
Yeah.
If you have a rare genetic mutation that's pointing to a disease, past life information can help you
Exactly.
understand where that genetic mutation comes from and change it. We think our DNA is set. It's like a curse. It's not.
Yeah.
That comes from energy of our essence.
Yes.
And if our DNA has a rare genetic mutation or anything else that points to breast cancer or any other kind of health condition, that comes from a lineage of energy that's from past lives that we can change.
Correct.
So what else? Psychological issues, addictions, sexual abuse. Oh my gosh.
Yes.
If you had sexual abuse in a previous life, that stuff carries simple aches and pains. And we don't have much time now, but I remember that you had that one client who had this pain in his shoulder that was bothering him,
and what I saw in a past life that he'd been, and this is how it came to me, he had been run through with a sword, and so I cleared the trauma of that, and to my knowledge, he hasn't said anything to me, but that pain stopped.
So simple aches and pains. DNA, that we just talked about that. Any sort of DNA problem that you have that points to something, you can deal with past lives. Psychological issues, of course, we have this crisis of mental health.
Yes.
That's a lot of that's past life stuff. Our all the traumas in the last 100 to 500 years is catching up with us.
Exactly.
Difficult issues in your life that seem impossible. Money issues.
Yes.
Money issues are huge. Not having enough, not spending too much, not being able to spend it all. All those things can come from past lives.
And I just want to throw in there racism, sexism, all of these things. They're not just from this lifetime, everyone. I'll say it flat out. I'm not going to let you think about it. I'm telling you.
We need a better frame for that.
Okay.
What we're saying is that the social issues that we have come from past lives, collective trauma.
Yes.
Racism, sexism, mental health and memory diseases.
Correct.
There are certain traumas we don't want to remember. No. Certain traumas that have 500 years ago, maybe that your body says, I don't want to ever have to remember that ever again.
And yet your body and your essence of your soul will remember those things.
Well,
and
exactly.
There will be trauma because of it.
If you've ever felt cursed, I want to get that one in.
That one's a huge
I'm
one.
Cursed. What do I do? Well,
it's
past life.
So key points, Jason.
Past life information can have many practical uses and can help heal your essence.
Correct.
The buildup of negative energy is always connected to past life trauma and dysfunction. Programming teaches you to ignore old energies of trauma and focuses on objectives only. Programming doesn't work. And the ecosystem approach helps you heal your essence, which is foundational for your life and happiness.
In the next segment, we're going to talk about the stories, fairy tales, archetypes of your past lives and why they are an important part for healing and overcoming trauma in this lifetime. This is the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason and Patricia, and you're listening to Transformation Talk Radio. This is the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason, and I'm Patricia. And in this segment, we're going to talk about the stories, fairy tales, and archetypes of your past lives and why they are an important part for healing and overcoming trauma in this lifetime. We are married intuitives with over 20 years experience who created the Ecosystem Approach for you. This is much different because we see human beings as ecosystems that need to be restored instead of programmed. We show you how to take an energy approach for internal discovery that is rational, practical, and useful for everyday life. Jason, I know many people who have come to us over the years have already spoken to someone who told them about something connecting to their past lives. Why are these stories important for healing in this lifetime?
So we're going to make a really important distinction in this section. Okay. Your emotional story, we're going to start with your emotional story. And we've talked about this. If you've listened to our show, we've talked about your emotional story, which is what's happened to you in your life but not just what's happened, the actual things that have happened,
Mhm.
but what's important about that is how you felt about it.
Mm.
So that's why two people in the same family can have a totally different experience, because the same things may have happened to them.
Yes.
They had the same experiences that the rest of the family did, but people feel about it in different ways.
Correct.
And what's important is how you feel about it. It's not important what actually happened. It's how you feel about it, because how you feel about it gives you a hint about where the negative energy is in your essence.
Correct.
So you can go there specifically and clear it
Correct.
and take it away.
Yes.
That's why past lives is important, because it tells you what's there to clear, and then you can go there very specifically. But people think they have to know the exact details of the story, and that's not true.
No.
So you don't have to clear the specifics of the details of what happened, but
How you feel about it now.
Yes.
Yes.
Or how you felt about it then, which may be acting upon you.
Correct.
So that's why often you'll hear us use archetypes or fairy tales to represent someone's emotional story.
Correct.
Now, if you've heard us on before, you know that we've talked about Patricia, and this the Cinderella story is a perfect archetype for her growing up experience, her emotional story, because she felt like her sisters were given a priority, and she was given a lesser priority,
right?
Because the way she was treated, and because she was tasked with helping your mentally
disabled sister
take care of her.
Yes.
And she had mental age of about a 3-year-old.
Correct. At the most.
So it was like you were the maid, and
like I was.
and the maid took care of everybody, that sort of thing, but was not really
acknowledged
or considered a lofty position in the family. It was considered a very negative position. Well, that was the archetype. Now, Cinderella, the archetype of the Cinderella, it doesn't apply with the prince and the shoe and all that stuff. That
I keep looking for that shoe. Oh my gosh.
Well,
okay.
And you told me that I was a prince, but that's a that part of the story.
Whatever.
That part of the story doesn't fit anymore. So or never fit. Okay, but it's that little bit of that piece of that tale
of feeling as if I was the maid.
Yes. And there's a lot of fairy tales out there that you can say, okay, yeah, that
correct.
I can relate to that one. That's my favorite one.
Right. Exactly.
Chances are it means something to you because it's connected to your emotional story.
Correct.
That's important.
Yes.
The specifics of it isn't.
Yes.
And Cinderella, she sang with the birds. Sang and danced for your sister.
I did,
but there weren't any birds available. So
that the birds happen later on in life. That's all other.
But that wasn't relevant to that. So
exactly.
So understand that these archetypes or fairy tales or even stories, it doesn't have to be exact.
Right.
So when we gonna help you in the next segment how to do it yourself.
Right.
That part is people say, oh, I need someone to confirm it for me. I can't trust myself. And that's not true. And we're going to talk some more about that.
Right. Right.
But
well, and I want to say that I had the ecosystem approach and understood it a little bit better as I was growing up. I could have been able to help myself a whole lot more in understanding why this upset me, or I felt this way about something, and that I had the choice to remove the negative energy and meaning and the feelings about it, and actually go forward easier.
Well, and obviously most children can't figure this out, but even a young adult, if you could have seen that being the maid and being pigeonholed into that function with your family,
right,
had something to do with past life then.
Yes.
And you didn't know about the clearing then and all that other thing. But that we put it all together for you with the ecosystem approach. And if this is kind of speaking to you right now, go to our website right now, theecosystemapproach.org. And it's for our free section. And I'll tell you a little bit later in the show. But I remember when we first started doing this work, I had a client that came to me and I gave this information I don't remember if it was actually past life or back then you would
I
call it a
think,
reading.
and the other thing is that I vaguely remember it, but I remember that you gave her information about today and past lives.
Well, and it was very helpful to her to help to grow and develop. I
Yes.
thought I nailed it. I knew I nailed it.
Yes.
Okay. Um, but at the end, she said, well, I asked her, what she was thinking. She said, well, it didn't wow me. And, I kind of was flabbergasted. And frankly, I was really offended. I didn't know what to say.
Correct.
And it was clear that she came to me not for self-improvement.
No, she came for entertainment.
Yes.
Ah,
And so we've been doing this for a long time. It's, way over 20 years. And we've always resisted
being the entertainers.
going to parties and
Oh yeah.
doing that sort of thing. Because it's not what we do. And if you're
Well,
listening right now, it's not our job to use our intuitive gifts, our intuitive ability to entertain. It's to help you have a better life, to see
correct.
what's in your way, to see why you're never happy, or why you're in a bad mood all the time, or why you're always angry, or why you hate your sister so much. So because if you remove the blocks,
Right.
magic starts to happen. It's
Well,
really amazing.
and there's a clarity that comes out of it that oh, I don't have to be mad at that anymore, or I
Yes.
don't have to feel unworthy anymore. That sort of thing. It's actually quite awesome when you realize that we don't have to carry around negative energies all the time. We don't have to be victims to negative energy, especially from our past. And it's pretty interesting. But I have a story about you. Do you mind if I
No, go ahead.
jump in? And a couple of years back, we discovered that Jason had some long lost relatives. And
We found it through ancestry.
they found out, and then they contacted us. And the most incredible thing was that we had no idea that they truly existed, and that we found out that Jason has a Jewish background. Okay, but then it was really interesting. Jason said to me, Patricia, take a look at this. Take a look at this for me. Just, do your thing. So I sat down and I saw the Jewish thing, yes. But then Jason has had gluten sensitivity. He's not gluten intolerant. He's gluten sensitive. And he's had it since I've known him. And I saw that he was carrying the burden of the Jewish background regarding famine and
wheat.
And he's been carrying this around, and it has really, really affected him. And the ironic part that I have discovered, and especially since then, is we cleared that. By the way, we cleared his belief that it was his burden to carry. But the bottom line is that since we have done this, yes, he does stay away from gluten as much as possible, but his reaction, if he does eat gluten, is not even half of what it used to be.
It's all those things that we don't even think about. And what's important is not that it was Jewish,
exactly,
but it had to do with the famine and the wheat, and then applied it to my story, which is
believing you had to carry the burden.
Yes, the shame and the guilt of being a six.
Exactly.
So we're going to talk some more about that
exactly
in just a minute.
So are we ready for key points?
Yes.
Jason, what are the key points?
Past life information is a continuation of your emotional story that helps you heal your essence.
Mm-hmm.
The specifics of past lives are not important to help you clear the trauma and the dark energy of the past. Mm-hmm. Confirmation of past life stories is a distraction. Clearing the dark energy connected to past lives is the objective.
Yes.
And the ecosystem approach is designed to teach you to heal your essence and focus on
that directly.
Yes.
Yes.
Take a breath.
In the next segment, we're going to talk about how to know past life information using your abilities and why doing past life analysis should be a do-it-yourself activity. This is the Ecosystem Approach with Jason and Patricia, and you're listening to Transformation Talk Radio. This is the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason, and I'm Patricia. And in this segment, we're going to talk about how to know past life information using your own abilities and why doing past life analysis should be a do-it-yourself activity. We are married intuitives with over 20 years experience who created the Ecosystem Approach for you. This is much different because we see human beings as ecosystems that need to be restored instead of programmed. We show you how to take an energy approach for internal discovery that is rational, practical, and useful for everyday life. Okay, Jason, explain why past life analysis should be a do-it-yourself activity.
Well, just like we talked about in the last segment.
Okay.
When you go to whether it's a medium, a psychic, clairvoyant,
yes, sure,
intuitive, whatever, there's a natural inclination to want to wow you because that's how they make money. And
true.
We've never promoted past life regression as part of our service, although we've done it for our clients who are actively trying to evolve and make their life better.
And to know what their sole purpose is.
Exactly. Because one of the things we didn't mention in the last segment, which I think is important, is that dark energy always wants to distract us from getting rid of that trauma, that negative energy, what we call dark energy, that's in your essence.
Correct.
So it wants to have you go off in these tangents where you're studying the famines of past Jewish
lives.
That sort of thing. That's not what I need to understand. I need to understand how I felt about it, which was a form of shame and guilt.
Correct.
That's connected to wheat.
That is correct.
And that's what helps me heal and
correct.
So we also found out that, your past life information is already there. It's already within you. And because we're programmed, we have these expectations that we have a readout or we have a movie about it, that sort of thing. But we're going to tell you right now how to do it yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And we think you should do it yourself. And we've created the Ecosystem Approach for you so that you can develop the skills and ability with energy.
Correct.
So you can do it yourself. That's why we've done the Ecosystem Approach, is because we want to help teach other people to evolve and have energy abilities, not just for them to come to us for our energy abilities. We want you to develop yourself, which is the way you were designed that way.
Well, and the other thing is part of our purpose is to help people learn how to do things themselves so they can evolve.
Yes.
And that's part of why Jason and I are here.
So here's what you do. It's this simple. Okay. First of all, you have to know your emotional story. And we've done a lot of shows about this, understanding self and your self-knowledge, understanding your emotional story and how you felt about it. And it doesn't have to be war and peace. It can be,
Not at all.
We just described your emotional story, which was you felt like the maid growing up, and that not only were you the maid, but you were lesser than as a result. That your status within the family was really limited because of the activities that you had to do. So it's that simple.
And the other part of that is that once you find even a piece of your emotional story and you look to see if it's connected, you take a moment, and he's going to talk about it a little bit more. You take a moment to look and see if it's connected to past life energy. And I'm going to say it that way, past life energy or memories. One of the best things you can do is you can clear that. And I realize I took your thunder away again. I apologize.
Yeah, well, so the thing is that so once you understand your emotional story, then the second step is your enneagram type.
Yes, very important.
Your enneagram types tells you those compulsive feelings that you have that are connected to the negative energy that's attached to your essence.
Correct.
So for Patricia, she's a 4, And so she was the maid. She processes everything emotionally and with drama. That's part of being a 4.
I don't know what that means.
So that that's how it affected her. And so clearing for her would be to clear the emotionality and the drama around being the maid.
Correct.
For me, I'm a type 6 that has shame, fear, and need for security. So when my emotional story was about being in a family with a dad who was probably mentally ill and was very critical and judgmental.
Very much.
So that fed into my shame, fear, and needing for something secure. So when I go to my past lives, I look at how that affects that. But here's the other thing that we should say, and I think it's really important. We've been doing this. We not only teach you how to do it, but we've been doing it ourselves for over 20 years now.
That's correct.
And frankly, there's so much to clear in our current life.
Right.
We haven't really gone to our past life that much because it's all there in front of us already. Why do we need, it's not like we need more to clear.
I was going to say, bring on more. No, we don't. But every once in a while it will show up, such as the wheat thing. That's it. And the irony is, why would he have such a wheat thing? I mean, he grew up in a place where wheat was a staple in his everyday life. And so why is that? The bottom line is that when you start to understand, it's not the wheat, it's the negative energies connected to the wheat and the story.
So to do it yourself, know your emotional story, know your Enneagram type.
Correct.
And connect those two and how they interact and understand that. And then once you're grounded in your emotional story, it's as simple as relaxing, closing your eyes, and ask for past life stories. So let's say you're struggling with money, or you're struggling with relationships, or some sort of health issue. Ask, how does this health issue connect with my past lives?
Correct.
How does this, the fact that I always seem to find the wrong guy or the wrong woman, how does that connect to my past lives? How come I can't make any money, or I can't keep any money, or I can make it, but I can't keep it? How does that connect to my past lives? See what comes up and let your imagination run wild. It's okay.
Yes.
You don't need to have anybody say, that's absolutely right. You don't need to be validated,
right?
And if you make up a story and it feels like you're making up a story.
Yes.
In your mind. It's like you're guessing. But I guarantee you, your essence is talking to you.
Yes.
Your essence knows what that story is.
Yes.
So I haven't encountered anybody that just comes up with stuff like that and says, oh, that's, well, I got this impression, but I don't know if it's right or not.
Right.
We hear that all the time. And 9 times out of 10, it is.
Yes.
It's close enough.
Well, and I was going to say, and there's a part, anybody who has talked to me about, I saw this, or I felt that, or I was dreaming about this, that kind of thing, making up a story, that kind of thing. There is some truth to it.
Yes.
There's a piece of it that has some truth.
And by the way, when you start doing your developing your intuition, your refined intuition,
right.
we teach about that also. It always feels in the beginning like you're guessing, or you're just
right. Right.
And that's part of, a lot of people have a lot of intuition, but they don't trust it.
Exactly.
It's not that they don't have it, it's they don't trust it.
I have a story. Just recently, we had somebody take a look at Jason, and just because it was a teaching moment for that person. And she came up with some information about Jason and his mom, and it was dead on. I mean, I was like, my mouth dropped open. It was so good. But what I saw was this person didn't believe what she saw. She didn't believe what she felt. And my teaching moment for her was to believe and understand in that part of herself.
So, key points.
Jason, what are the key points of this segment?
Past life information should always be a DIY endeavor, do it yourself, and to focus on your own healing. That's why you do it.
Correct.
Having an idea of your emotional story is the first step in doing DIY for past life regression.
Okay.
And asking yourself about past life connected to current challenges, and then let your imagination run wild.
Have fun with it. Enjoy it.
And the ecosystem approach teaches you to work with energy and refined intuition so that the do-it-yourself past life regression is possible.
Correct. So, Jason, let's take a moment and teach everyone how to do the clearing.
It's very simple.
Yes, it is.
You use your imagination. You can sit, stand, lay down, be walking, doing something else. But
if you're driving, don't close your eyes.
Yeah, don't close your eyes. And just as we say, the words and those are all written out on our website, and we're going to tell you how to get to that in just a minute. But so when we say to eliminate, just in your mind's eye, gather up from your tips of your toes through your body the barriers, veils, and illusions, whatever emotions we talk about, to eliminate, and blow them into the processor. Jacob's putting up the processor on the screen right now. That's what it looks like. If you're listening right now and you're not watching on a video, you can go to our website and download a picture of that processor. That's the best thing. But if you don't have that, just use a trash can.
Exactly.
Just put it in the trash can.
And just know that whatever you put in the trash can will not come out. Then after that, what we're going to do is we're going to activate life force energy, the most powerful energy that any of us has access to. We're going to use that to remove a little bit more negative energy, because there's a whole bunch of it, but also to go into your body and replace where the negative energy was, so that those places in your body and your essence can heal. Stay tuned. When we come back, we're going to help you prepare yourself to do your own past life regression. I hope people have fun with this one. This is the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason and Patricia, and you're listening to Transformation Talk Radio. This is the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason, and I'm Patricia. And in this segment, we're going to help you prepare yourself to do your own past life regression. Ready to get started?
Here we go.
All right.
I direct all my resources in all dimensions to eliminate the barriers, so I can see that past life information can have lots of practical benefits. Take a breath and blow it into that processor.
We're going to shorten it up just a little bit more for efficiency than anything else, and to eliminate the barriers, so I can see that true purpose to past life information is removing dark energy from essence, or my essence. Take a breath.
You know, if you're saying, I can't remember the words that he says, it's all written down. Yes. So if you go to our website, the ecosystemapproach.org, sign up for our free section, you get the clearings every week in a newsletter. It's a very short newsletter. It's all written out for you. A picture of the processor is right there. And the little couple paragraphs about me spouting off about something that has to do with the topic that we did that day. So go there and do that right now, the ecosystemapproach.org. Yes. So here we go. And to eliminate the intense feelings of worry, anxiety, and stress that I have that comes from past life trauma.
Take a breath. And by the way, I want to put in my 2 cents and say, we'd love you all to join us. Yes. We truly, truly would. It'll make a difference in your lives and ours. Thank you for that. And to eliminate any feelings of fear and hurt and shame that comes from this lifetime and past lifetimes. Take a breath. You don't need it anymore. It's about fear, hurt, and shame. Throw it away.
And to eliminate the barriers, so I can see that trying to get the details of past lives can be a distraction that doesn't serve you, it serves the dark.
Oh, and that's a huge, huge thing. Take a breath. And to eliminate the veils and illusions, so I can see that past life information should come from myself as a do-it-yourself, that sort of thing, meaning that
as a do-it-yourselfer
is as a do-it-yourselfer. Exactly. Take a breath, everybody.
And to eliminate any feelings of fear and terror that seem never ending could be part of a past life trauma that I can clear.
Yes.
you're always afraid, if you have fears and phobias, past
Hurt
life.
and hurts and pains. Yes, absolutely. All right. And to eliminate, is it my turn? Your
Yes.
turn. Okay. And to eliminate the barriers so I can see that refined intuition and imagination is my portal to my own past life information. That's huge, everyone. Take a breath and throw any negative energy that's blocking you from understanding your past life that you can clear.
And to eliminate any intense anger or resentment that I have that comes from ignoring my feelings and focusing on goals and objectives, which is that's programming.
Yes.
That programming just, it ignores your feelings, and that anger just builds up. And I guarantee you that happened in a past life too. So here we go. Gather that up, blow it into the processing.
And to eliminate any resistance I have to seeing the energies in my past life is the key to all my potential. That's huge. That one is huge as well. Take a breath.
And to eliminate the veils and illusions so I can see that my emotional story is a continuation of past life trauma.
And by the way, that should not be acceptable anymore because it comes out as blocks. Get rid of it. Take a breath. And to eliminate the barriers so I can see that programming teaches me that answers, formulas, and strategies, not healing my essence, where my true power lies. Take a breath.
So the barriers to that programming teaches me that the answers are formulas and strategies, and not healing my essence, which is where my true power lies.
There you go. Thank you, Jason. I appreciate that.
I left the word out there.
Okay. And go ahead.
And to eliminate the veils and illusions so I can see that doing it yourself, past life info starts with knowing my emotional story first.
Yes. Take a breath. And I want to add part of that, and to eliminate the fear of my emotional story.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
And to eliminate the veils and illusions so I can see that I can trust letting my imagination run wild when it comes to my past life stories and information. It's okay.
And
it doesn't have to be valid. Yeah.
Yes.
No one's gonna be grading you.
Yeah.
Just go ahead.
Exactly. Let's activate some life force. So, and by the way, life force gives you power and clarity and confidence to keep on going in life. So with that said, follow me. I direct all my resources in all dimensions to activate life force so I can have the power and the clarity and the confidence and the courage to see what's standing in front of me, see what negative energies I'm holding on to, so I can get rid of that negative energy, so I can go forward and do what I came here to do. Starting right now, take a breath, pull in that life force energy all the way through your body. Let it go all the way to the tips of your toes. Stop it right there. Turn it around and ask it to remove, meaning ask the life force energy to remove all the negative energies that are blocking you from who you truly are. Take a breath and blow it out.
And to activate life force so I can have hope to heal my essence and use it for the best possible life using a do-it-yourself past life info.
I love it. And to activate life force so I can trust and understand that my essence carries negative energy from past lifetimes and needs to be cleared. Pull in that life force energy one more time. Let it go into the places that need to be healed, and then blow out any negative energy that's left over.
And to activate life force so I can decide to focus my attention on removing negative energy from essence by clearing past lives.
Yes, take a breath. And to activate life force so I can be happy and healthy, have clarity, awareness, and objectivity, creativity, laughter, love, fun, learn to love myself and be happy with who I am. And if I'm not happy with something, know that I can change it. by using the ecosystem approach. Nice and easy. Pull in life force energy and let it go to the tips of your toes and blow out any negative energy left over. Jason, what are we going to talk about next week?
We're going to talk about dark energy and whether it has consciousness or not.
Oh my.
This is a biggie, and this is why you should listen next week, okay?
Okay.
I guarantee you, if you're trying to achieve an objective, if you're trying to maximize your potential, if you're trying to overcome relationship problems, money problems, even health problems, there is dark energy that's in your way.
Yes.
So the more that you know about this dark energy, it's not something that people happily pursue. You know, they want to have the fun stuff and the happy stuff.
Well, we all do.
But this dark energy have consciousness. We're going to talk about this. This is a fascinating show. And
yes.
We understand this probably better than most.
Yes.
And the misperception that people see this clearing process as a mechanical one, that, oh, you have negative energy, oh, let's just clear it. We'll clear it there. We don't understand there's a consciousness there.
Yes.
And that negative energy doesn't want to be cleared. Oh my gosh, this is going to be a fascinating show. Don't miss this.
Yes, exactly. And you'll find out some things about yourself that you thought, oh, that's just the way it is, when you find out, if I use my power and my consciousness,
Yes.
I can help myself. So,
you know, if today's show touched your heart, if you say, oh my gosh, maybe what's troubling me is a past life thing. Maybe that's the secret to what I need to do to move forward. You know, we're going to help you, and we're going to show you how to do that.
Okay. So, Jason, how can I and the audience make the ecosystem approach a bigger part of our lives?
It's very simple. We've made it very simple for you.
Okay.
First of all, listen to our show every week.
Okay.
Because we're teaching you how to work with energy, how to work with your essence, and how to heal that essence. And then we do clearings every week to help you do that. So it's right there, right then. The other thing is, go to our website right now, theecosystemapproach.org, and sign up for our free section. All we ask for is your email address. We don't spam you or anything like that, but you'll have this weekly newsletter that has clearings. People use those clearings. The more you clear, the better it is. It's a cumulative process.
Correct.
And we've made it so simple, so you'll just start to understand. There's a lot of content there on the website that you can read from also.
Yes, exactly.
And then if you're a Facebook person, go to our Facebook page, theecosystemapproach.org. We have all of our videos there, so you can like us. Please like us while you're there, and we give us a thumbs up. We appreciate that, and that'll be fun. So
well, and I just want to put in there, the ecosystem approach has changed my life in a way that I can't imagine going backwards, not even for a second. And I would like the same for everyone else. So join us. In fact, join us next week, Monday at 1 p.m. Pacific and 4 p.m. Eastern Time. This is Transformation Talk Radio, and you're listening to the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason and Patricia.
Remember, your ecosystem is the most important one in the world.
Thank you for listening to the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason and Patricia. I'm Patricia. Tune in every week as we discuss practical ways to apply the ecosystem approach and develop your potential to live your life on your terms. For more information, visit our website at theecosystemapproach.org.